Ever wonder how a young boy selling Italian water iced desserts in Queens, New York, became one of Wall Street's most notorious figures? This is the tale of Jordan Belfort, a man whose life story is as tumultuous as it is fascinating. Born in the year 1962 in the vibrant borough of Queens, New York, Belfort's journey is one marked by ambition, audacity, and a dash of entrepreneurial spirit. From an early age, he exhibited a knack for business. During summer breaks, while other kids were out playing, young Belfort was peddling Italian water ice desserts, a venture that hinted at his future in the world of business. As Belfort grew older, his ambitions began to take shape. He initially set his sights on a career in dentistry, pursuing a biology degree at American University. However, destiny had other plans. A change of heart saw him drop out of university, his dreams of dental school dissolving into thin air. Instead, he found himself drawn to the hustle and bustle of business, an attraction that would ultimately chart his course towards Wall Street. Belfort's early forays into the business world were marked by a series of highs and lows. He tried his hand at door-to-door sales in Long Island, tasting both success and failure in equal measure. Despite the setbacks, Belfort remained undeterred. A chance encounter with a family friend opened the doors to the world of stockbroking, setting him on the path towards establishing his own brokerage house. Belfort's initial struggles were merely a prelude to the roller coaster ride that was to follow. Little did he know that his journey, which began with selling frozen treats on the streets of Queens, would lead him to the dizzying heights of Wall Street, and later, to the depths of legal trouble. Thus began the journey of a young man, full of potential, yet uncertain about the path he would eventually tread. The story of Jordan Belfort serves as a stark reminder that the road to success is often winding, and the rise to the top can be just as fast as the fall. Success and failure are two sides of the same coin, and for Jordan Belfort, this couldn't be truer. Belfort's journey into the world of business started with a humble door-to-door sales job in Long Island. He was a natural salesman with a knack for persuading people to buy whatever he was selling. But even with his inherent talent and charisma, he wasn't immune to the harsh realities of enterprise. His first major business venture ended in bankruptcy, leaving Belfort at a crossroads. But as the saying goes, when one door closes, another opens. A family friend offered Belfort an opportunity to enter the world of stockbroking, a field that promised wealth and prosperity for those who could master it. Belfort seized this chance with both hands. He learned the ropes, honed his skills, and soon enough, he was ready to venture out on his own. In the late 1980s, he founded Stratton Oakmont, an over-the-counter brokerage house. It wasn't just any brokerage house, though. Stratton Oakmont became a titan of Wall Street, linked to numerous initial public offerings and making a significant impact in the financial world. Stratton Oakmont was more than just a company for Belfort. It was a kingdom he had built from scratch, a symbol of his triumph over past failures. At its peak, the firm had about 1,000 stockbrokers managing investments that exceeded $1 billion. But as the firm grew in size and influence, so did the shadows it cast. Beneath the veneer of success, Stratton Oakmont was a breeding ground for fraudulent activities, including pump-and-dump schemes that artificially inflated penny stock prices. Belfort was at the helm of this operation, pulling strings behind the scenes. With Stratton Oakmont, Belfort had not only created a new business but also a ticking time bomb. The firm's practices would eventually catch up with them, leading to their downfall. But that's a story for later. For now, let's bask in the rise of Jordan Belfort, the self-made man who would become known as the Wolf of Wall Street. In the world of finance, the line between success and scandal can be alarmingly thin, especially in the case of Jordan Belfort and Stratton Oakmont, the brokerage firm he founded in the late 1980s. This isn't your typical tale of a company's downfall. It's a story of excess, manipulation, and the dark side of the American dream. Stratton Oakmont wasn't just a brokerage house, it was an over-the-counter behemoth linked to numerous initial public offerings, or IPOs, and achieved remarkable success. But success, as they say, often comes with a price. For Belfort and Stratton Oakmont, that price was integrity. The firm's operations were laced with fraudulent activities, the most notorious being pump-and-dump schemes. The concept was simple: artificially inflate the prices of penny stocks, sell them off for a hefty profit, and leave unsuspecting investors in the dust when the stock prices inevitably plummeted. This wasn't an isolated incident, but rather a business model. Stratton Oakmont became a boiler room, a term used to describe an operation that uses high-pressure sales tactics to sell securities that the brokerage owns and wants to get rid of. The securities they are selling are often poor investment opportunities and almost always penny stocks. At its peak, Stratton Oakmont had around 1,000 stockbrokers overseeing investments exceeding $1 billion. $1 billion of hard-earned money from investors who were deceived by the firm's manipulative tactics. But, as the saying goes, what goes up must come down. The National Association of Securities Dealers, or NASD, started to take notice of the firm's activities. Legal actions began to roll in, and the walls of Stratton Oakmont started to crumble. In 1996, the gavel fell. Stratton Oakmont was forced to close its doors, marking the end of an era of unchecked greed and deception in the world of finance. The firm that Belfort built from the ground up, the firm that made him a millionaire many times over, was no more. But the fall of Stratton Oakmont was just the beginning of Belfort's troubles. In 1999, Belfort and his associate, Danny Porush, were indicted for money laundering and securities fraud. Belfort pleaded guilty to fraud, especially for the pump and dump schemes that potentially cost investors up to $200 million. Belfort, once a titan of Wall Street, was sentenced to 4 years in prison. He served 22 months of his sentence and was required to pay restitution to the investors he defrauded upon his release. But even then, his legal issues persisted, with federal prosecutors accusing him of insufficient restitution payments in 2013. As the gavel fell, so did the empire Belfort had built. But his story was far from over. The fall of Jordan Belfort and Stratton Oakmont is a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked ambition and the thin line between success and scandal in the world of finance. The law eventually catches up, and for Jordan Belfort, it was no different. In 1999, the financial world was rocked by a major scandal. Belfort and his associate, Danny Porush, found themselves in the crosshairs of a federal indictment. The charges were hefty: money laundering and securities fraud. The fraudulent activities that had fueled the success of Stratton Oakmont were now the very reasons for its downfall. The prosecution painted a clear picture of the pump and dump schemes, a manipulation tactic used to artificially inflate the prices of penny stocks. Belfort and his team would buy large quantities of a cheap stock, inflate its value through false and misleading positive statements, and then sell it off at a high price. The stock would then crash, leaving the investors with significant losses. It was a scheme that potentially cost investors up to $200 million. When faced with the overwhelming evidence, Belfort pleaded guilty. His admission of guilt was in relation to the pump and dump schemes, a clear acknowledgement of his role in the fraud and manipulation that had left many investors in financial ruin. The sentence handed down was 4 years in prison. Of that, Belfort served 22 months. But the punishment didn't stop at prison time. There was also the matter of restitution. Belfort was required to pay back the defrauded investors. However, the restitution payments became a contentious issue. In 2013, federal prosecutors accused Belfort of not making the necessary payments. A man who had once overseen investments exceeding $1 billion was now being accused of insufficient restitution. The irony was not lost on those who had followed his rise and fall. While in prison, Belfort had time to reflect on his actions and the repercussions they had on others. He saw firsthand the impact of his decisions, the financial devastation left in his wake. It was a bitter pill to swallow, a stark reminder of the cost of his ambition and greed. Belfort was out of prison, but he was far from free. The weight of his actions, the restitution payments, and the ongoing legal issues were a constant reminder of his past. But in true Belfort fashion, he didn't let that define him. He used his experiences, his mistakes, and his lessons to reinvent himself, to pivot from a disgraced figure to a successful motivational speaker and author. But that's a story for another time. For now, we leave Belfort at the end of his prison sentence, a man grappling with the repercussions of his actions, the magnitude of his mistakes, and the long road to redemption that lay ahead. It's a sobering reminder of the cost of unchecked ambition and the consequences of unethical actions. Belfort was out of prison, but he was far from free. A fall from grace can lead to a rise in wisdom, and this was the case for Belfort. After serving 22 months of his 4-year sentence, Belfort emerged from prison with a new purpose: to leverage his experiences and reinvent himself as a motivational speaker. He set out to strike a chord with people across the globe, sharing his insights on ethics, motivation, and sales skills, and emphasizing the importance of learning from one's mistakes. Belfort's post-prison endeavors were not confined to motivational speaking. He also ventured into the literary world, penning 2 memoirs that have since left indelible marks in popular culture. His first memoir, The Wolf of Wall Street, chronicles his journey from a scrappy New Yorker to a notorious figure in the financial world. This book was later adapted into a blockbuster film, further cementing his legacy. His second memoir, Way of the Wolf, takes a different tack. This self-help book delves into Belfort's sales techniques, offering readers a glimpse into the mind of a man who once had 1,000 stockbrokers at his command. It's a guide to persuasion, influence, and success, peppered with anecdotes from his roller coaster ride through Wall Street. But the road to redemption wasn't a smooth one for Belfort. His transformation was met with continued legal scrutiny. In 2013, federal prosecutors accused him of insufficient restitution payments, asserting that he was not doing enough to repay the investors he had defrauded. Then, in 2014, Belfort found himself in hot water again. This time, he was linked to an Australian employee training company. Despite these legal challenges, Belfort managed to maintain a lucrative speaking and training business, turning his past into a platform for education and inspiration. As of 2023, Belfort's net worth reportedly exceeded $110 million, a far cry from the man who once stood in a courtroom pleading guilty to fraud. His ability to pivot from a disgraced figure to a successful motivational speaker and author is a testament to his resilience and adaptability. But it's worth noting that Belfort's transformation is not just about financial success or public rehabilitation. It's about the lessons learned from past mistakes, the wisdom gained from failure, and the determination to turn one's life around. It's about using one's experiences, however tumultuous, to inspire others and make a positive impact. From a disgraced figure to a successful motivational speaker and author, Jordan Belfort's life is a testament to the complexities of human nature and the power of transformation. Despite the controversy that surrounds him, Belfort's story serves as a powerful reminder that change is possible, that redemption can be earned, and that every story, no matter how flawed, has the potential for a transformative ending. The name Jordan Belfort will forever be etched in Wall Street's history. A son of Queens, New York, born in 1962, Belfort's journey winds like a twisting road from humble beginnings to a notorious figure in the financial world. An early knack for business led him through various ventures, from selling Italian water ice to door-to-door sales before he found his true calling in the world of stockbroking. In the late 80s, he founded Stratton Oakmont, an over-the-counter brokerage house. This venture brought him immense wealth and recognition, but it was not without its share of controversy. Fraudulent activities overshadowed the firm's success, leading to its closure, legal actions, and Belfort's eventual indictment on charges of money laundering and securities fraud. A guilty plea for pump-and-dump schemes cost investors potentially up to $200 million, led to a prison term and a requirement to pay restitution. Yet, in the wake of this tumultuous period, Belfort found a way to reinvent himself. He emerged from prison with a new purpose, leveraging his experiences to become a motivational speaker and author. His memoirs, The Wolf of Wall Street and Way of the Wolf, provide an insight into his life and his transformation. Despite continued legal scrutiny, he has managed to carve out a lucrative speaking and training business, amassing a net worth exceeding $110 million as of 2023. This journey, marked by soaring highs and devastating lows, is a testament to Belfort's resilience and adaptability. His legacy, however, is a complex one, riddled with controversy. Some view him as a symbol of Wall Street's darker side, while others see him as a man who made mistakes, paid for them, and used his experiences to inspire others. Jordan Belfort's life serves as a stark reminder. Success is not just about making it to the top, but about the journey, the choices we make, and the lessons we learn along the way.